Okay, this is Jacobit's Learning. Thanks for coming in. Math Foundations of Algebra. We're just going to do some basic algebra when it comes to denominators at the bottom while you're solving variables. Let's start with this first problem, 7c minus 2c plus 2 over 6 equals 7. This intimidates a lot of the students we get because they're inclined to make this number here 7 over 1, which you can because that's already implied. But here's the deal, you just have to remember that whatever you do on this side, you have to do on this side. Some people will take this 6 and multiply this 6 times 7 times this to get negative 2 to get 42c minus negative 12 over 12, which you can do, and then put this 6 over here and get 42. That complicates it. And along the way, I can show you how to do that. But right now, we're going to do it the easiest way and the way that saves you time when you see these problems on the equation, on tests that have equations. So keep terms with variables together. Let the sign tell you what to do. Sign directs the equation. So let's listen to that. This says plus 2. So you know you've got to add a positive 2 somewhere. This says to subtract. So you got to subtract. So here you see that you have 5c because we did that. And this is because you have a c here and you have a c here. So it's 5c and then you leave the 2. You leave the 6 equals 7. Now you have a condensed equation. Okay? What we did here was we cross multiplied. And the reason we're cross multiplying is because we're trying to save you some time. So then you get a cross multiplication, which it was done for you here, 7 times 6, and you get 5c plus 2 equals 42. And we could have done that in the other step, but that's okay. We did it. Okay, so now your equation is kind of simple. 5c plus 2 equals 42. And you're taking out the additive inverse, which means you're going to subtract in this case because this is positive. So we go ahead and write additive inverse because what gets tricky is a lot of people want to do the multiplicative inverse, but we're not doing the multiplicative inverse. We're doing the additive inverse because the additive inverse is what this sign told us to do, told us to add. So if we want to take it to the other side, we have to go through the trouble of subtracting. Okay, so I know some of you have digital sites where you can go on and see if this is correct, if you get the right answer. Point is, you need to see why and you need to see the steps. So you have 5c equals 40. Immediately you know that 5 times whatever c's value is has to be 8. But let's go on ahead and look at the next step. So we did this, these are the steps. We took the fifth, see here you go again. This is the multiplicative inverse. And we took 1/5. We left it positive, and we went to the other side. Okay, but if we did it on one side, we had to do it on the other. So we had 1/5 times 40, and we condensed. 5 goes into itself one time, 5 goes into 48 times. These were put here. And so you have 8 over 1, which is 8. Done. Okay, we have a plus 2 plus 2a over 5a minus 2 plus 4a equals a half. The subtraction sign belongs to the 2, so it's actually negative 2. I'm saying that in case you want to go ahead and subtract. Okay, so what we did here was we went ahead and just moved it over. So all your a's were closer together. So when you get ready to add, you can see very easily there's an implied 1. So since you're adding, this is 3a and this becomes 9a. Okay, so here we did it. The implied, you have these two a's got added. So you had 3a plus 2, and then these two a's got added, so you had 9a. Remember we said this minus 2. A lot of people are inclined to go on ahead and make this a positive 1 up here, a negative 1 here. You can do that, but I'm choosing not to so you can understand the concept. Okay, now you're over here, and this is where it gets tricky. You're going to cross multiply. And sometimes we forget that when we cross multiply, we automatically get rid of everything on this side. Okay? So this 2 goes here. It's 2 times 3a plus 2. And this 1 comes down here. 9a. And so this is done here. So you have a new equation. You're using the distributive property. 2 times 3a, and then 2 times 2, and then 1 times 9a, and then 1 times 2. Okay, and you have 6a plus 4 is 9a minus 2. And all of this is just explaining what I did by using cross multiplication. You get rid of the fraction on the other side of the equal sign. Okay, so now you have the new equation, which is 6a plus 4 equals 9a minus 2. You can go ahead and solve it. Okay, so we took negative 4, 9a minus 6, 6a plus 0. Then we came back, since we had the negative 6 over here. Once we added this together, we got negative 6. Please be careful. Okay, this negative 6 is here, this positive 6 is over here. Somehow we've got to get these two together because they have the variables. So I took the negative 6 back, but when I take it back, you have to take its inverse back, which is positive 6. When we take the inverse back, we get 6a, and we get plus 6. So we have 6a plus 6 equals 9a. Now we're going to take the inverse of 6a, which is negative. That goes to the other side. 9 minus 6 is 3. Now, let me ask you a question. We have 6 equals 3a. So 6 equals 3a is now going to come with the inverse again. 1/3. Take 1/3 to the other side. And then you have 6 over 3. That's just extra steps so you understand. 6, 3 equals a equals 2. Thank you so much for watching.